Welcome to the Cosmic Couple.
It took me several months to ask Grace out, but part of me is like, well, what if she says no, and then it's awkward, then this fun friendship that we've built up in our class is kind of spoiled, or at least that's what I would thought in my mind. And at Christmas break, I set myself a goal of calling you and asking you out on a date. Do you remember when I called you that night?
Oh, yeah, I definitely do. It was winter break, and there are no cell phones. Cell phones are not invented, so you have a landline. And it was in the kitchen. We were getting ready to sit down to dinner. People were going to the dining room and, just a lot of commotion, and the phone rings and I grab it. And you said, hi, this is Dan from art class. And I said, oh, hi. And I have a sister that's in your grade. So I thought that you were calling to talk to her. And so I was like, oh, we're just about ready to sit down to dinner. Can I have her call you back?
Mm-hmm.
And you said, well, actually, I'm calling to talk to you. And I was just smiling so big. I just felt so excited. And I was like, yeah, I'll give you a call back. And
which I was kind of happy because it extended the conversation. It was kind of like I could feel out how excited is Grace that I'm calling her. And then for you to say, I'll call you back. Okay, good. I could breathe a little more, kind of get my thoughts back together, get my game back on.
So did I sound excited?
You did. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I could tell you were smiling.
And so we finished dinner and, I ate pretty fast. I was excited to get this phone call. And so I was like, I got to go, I'm going to go return a phone call. Everyone knew. So in the upstairs, there was a phone up there.
Okay.
I pulled that into my room and I remember dialing and sitting in my room and calling you. And you said...
Then I said, would you want to go see a movie with me over Christmas break? And we went to go see Back to the Future 2 in the theaters. And I remember prior to picking you up that night, I just wanted to make sure I knew which house it was. So I took my little brother for a drive with me because he knew where your little brother lived. We drove around that area. He's like, that's the house right there.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I didn't know that. But I remember when you picked me up, you came to the door.
Yeah.
You came in, and I think my grandparents from Florida were visiting.
Yes. I remember everybody poking their head out from the side, in the hallway, from the living room, from the kitchen,
to get a glimpse,
to get a look,
of my date. Yeah.
But so going up and meeting your family and all that,
it wasn't a big deal. You weren't nervous about that?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was icy.
Yeah, really icy night. Did we take back roads to the?
No, I took the highway.
Okay.
Yeah, I took the highway because I remember there was like a clover leaf, where you get off the highway and do a big circle to get onto another highway. And we were driving into the circle of the clover leaf, and I still had my signal on, that as I entered it. And I just remember manually turning it off and saying, well, I guess people know which way I'm going now. And you kind of laughed. And then we're driving back to your house, and
I was like, it's only 9 o'clock. I don't have to be home yet. I'm like, are we going to go to my house and hang out with all my, like my grandparents and everyone? Like, yeah.
But it was early still.
I remember we were passing McDonald's and I was like, hey, do you want a French fry? Or are you thirsty or something like that?
Yeah.
And we sat in there and just talked for a long time.
Yeah. And just the easiest of conversation, they just flowed.
And so I think, so I was asking you, what do you want to do with your life? And you said, I want to be a good father.
Yeah.
You said that on a date when you were 17 years old.
Right.
On a first date, saying that you want to be a good father. Like, deep cut.
Yeah.
but it was true.
Yeah. And again, I'm it's kind of funny to think back on that.
And just like to remember that. Like, I wish we had a tape recorder
right.
of what we talked about.
Yeah. That could turn off a lot of relationships on the first date to say, I want to be a good father in high school.
But we were talking about later in life and that sort of that thing, because, you were a senior and it was, are you going to go to college? Or
yeah, I didn't really know. I've never been good with what do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years thing. But when you asked me that, the only thing that popped in my head is like, I want to be a good dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was wonderful night at McDonald's. We did see one couple that came in that we knew, and they were kind of like, "Hey guys,
surprised to see, like, you guys know each other."
Yeah. They're smiling kind of knowingly, like, I think they're on a date.
Yeah, because no one else was with us.
No, and we didn't really yell it out over the intercoms.
Right? No, we didn't. We didn't, and no one had, what's the word? Negotiated it for us.
Yeah.
Brokered. That's the word I'm looking for. Nobody brokered the date.
There was no middle people negotiating it. So that was successful.
Yeah. Yeah. And to think back on it, how mature it was.
Yeah.
For how young we were.
Right.
And it continued on that trajectory, of being playful but serious. And we just felt a sense of calm and peace when we were together.
Yeah, it just felt authentic, genuine, natural,
not forced. Yeah.
And now that I was officially courting you, I went pretty hardcore with that. Like the next day, I had a rose.
Oh right,
sent to your house.
It was such a surprise. It was such a surprise to get a flower, and then you would get me a flower every month.
Then
that date,
I made a tradition of every month. I remember your parents like a lot of vases getting piled up in here.
Yes,
a new vase would be sent with every.
Yeah, and then it was like, just send the flower.
Yeah,
we don't need more vases. Just send the flower.
So we'll talk more about further dates in the next coming episodes. Appreciate everybody listening in.
Thanks again for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.